Yeah, a friend lent me this lock because although he can pick some simple combination locks, he couldn't pick this one. He thought this one should be simple because it's just even though it's a 5-wheel combination, it's just a cheap one, but it turns out to be a little bit difficult. So let's have a go. This is by the way, I think it says Jing Long resettable combination padlock, suitable for luggage, toolbox, etc. JH5206. Okay, I'll put that aside. I'm going to attach something to it. This combination has been set to some combination by my wife, so I don't know what it is. And okay, I've had a go at this before, and I think I've figured out a few things about it, but I'm not sure that I can necessarily do it consistently. So this looks not too bad for the price. So I'm going to just hold on to this so I can get a little bit of tension. I don't need heaps of tension. I haven't needed heaps of tension so far. My hands are a bit sweaty. That's going to make it a little bit difficult. So when I turn from this side and compare the resistance to this side, okay, this side is a lot harder to turn, so I'm going to start with this end. I think I've found that with this lock, I can start from this end and move along. Okay, so I'm going to turn it. I'm just basically going to put some tension on and start turning it. It seems, hang on, let's have a. Seems to sort of lurch to that number, and it's quite loose there. At 7, at 8 it's tight. 7 it's quite loose. It may turn out to be a different number. I don't know. I don't think this has got any false gates. It's just that sometimes this lock, I think what makes this lock a little bit difficult is because the feedback isn't necessarily obvious, especially when you're starting off. But that seemed obvious to me. And so what I found is if I've got this right, then the next disc will be a little bit tighter than if I had the wrong number. A little bit. It's, as I say, the feedback to this is quite subtle. I don't know if it's because I need to pull harder or not, but let's give this a go. So I'm tuning this. Did that seem to leap to 7 as well? I'm not sure. That first 7 is quite loose, and when I say loose, I mean it's got quite a range of movement that I can easily turn, but only in a certain range. I think it's in its gate. As I say, I don't think there's any false gates in this one, and I think it's moving within this gate quite easily, so I can easily move from side to side, and then it gets really difficult as if it doesn't want to pop out of that gate to the next number. But this next one, I'm not so sure it's like that, so I'll keep turning. It might be. Seem to lurch to 1. I can get a little bit of tension going on here. Maybe if I try my other hand. No, it doesn't seem to work. Yeah, it doesn't help with slippery hands. Right, so let's see if I can carry on. So yeah, it seems to be quite loose in one, and it seems to be moving in those gates, within that one gate, I mean. I don't want to force it out of the gate without releasing tension, but it seems that it moves easily within that gate, but it doesn't seem to want to pop out of that gate. So I think I'm on the right track. I think this number's 7 and this number's 1. So next one. Is this already in its gate on 0? I don't know. I'm going to... It sort of feels like it because it didn't want to move out. I just released tension a little bit, turning it, put more tension on, see what happens if I turn it. Yeah. So as I say, the feedback on this can be subtle, and sometimes I've dealing with this lock, I've had to spend a while on a wheel and come back to a wheel and see later. I'm just not sure with this third one. I might just leave it on 0. It might be right, and even if it's wrong, I can come back to it. So if it's right, this wheel might be a little bit stiffer. It's very difficult to tell. I can't seem to just try every number and see which number gives the next wheel the most effect at being tough to move, because although I think that the right number does make the next wheel tough to move, it gives it a little bit of tension, a little bit of resistance. The effect is quite subtle, and it's really difficult for me to tell. So does that seem 8? Hang on, I'll just go back. As I was talking, I wasn't really paying attention. Get a bit more grip. Now I'm really not sure. I'll just try the other numbers too. Ooh, 5 is quite loose, so maybe it's 5 actually. Yeah, I think let's go with 5, and let's turn the last wheel and see. Yep, okay. So at last it's open. Maybe if my hand wasn't so sweaty, I could have got there faster, although when I've played around this lock before, even with not sweaty hands, it hasn't been completely straightforward. Often I'll have to go back to one of the numbers that I've already done. So this lock is it's quite good for the price. I think it was only a few dollars. I looked up, and this lock, I couldn't see this lock being reviewed before. Similar locks, ones that say hardened shackle and has a driver pin and with false gates. This lock is different. There's no false gates that I can see, but the feedback is just subtle. So the right combination for this that my wife set was 35017, and it's another thing I wanted to show you is for this lock, to change this combination. It's it's quite a mission actually. What you do is rotate that towards you. You don't change the combination, you don't press down the shackle, you take this off, and then you start taking the discs off. And you see on this side it's got a little inside groove, a notch I mean, that sticks out, and this side hasn't, and so they actually slot into each other, so you can't fit something thin or a shank between them and feel for anything. So what happens is all these come off, and you can see this red line here, and this is locked. If you turn one of these wheels, then it doesn't come out, and it always comes out if you get these notches. There are 3 notches, but only the red one is the important one, I guess. That these ones have to be lined up, and so what you do is you think of the number you want. I'm going to set it all to zeros again. I'm going to make sure the notch is on the inside. So I'm going to say 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Hang on, I didn't put that notch on the inside. Yeah. And then turn it up this way again. Put this on. Turn it up to the hole. Put it in. You can see that it's really only this that's stopping it, not this. And you can see, I don't know if you can see, there seems to be a ball bearing in there, which that might mean that it can't easily be shimmed. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, this goes in here. Click it all the way down. It's sort of like 2 clicks. Not there, but all the way down, and then you can mix up the code. But on these notches, when it goes to the right combination, zeros, then it can come out. Okay, so that's this cheap little lock. That's it's not too bad. If you have to spend more than a few minutes trying to pick it, more than 5 or 10 minutes, then maybe it's an ideal lock for a locker, something like that. I wouldn't use it on a shed or on a mountain bike or something like that, obviously. But and also I'm not sure how hard the shackle is. It doesn't say hardened, and this is made out of plastic. I'm not sure what it would take to get through it with a hammer. But as for the decoding the combination, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. So as I say, it would be something I would be happy to use on a locker, and it's really good for the price. Good value. Thanks.